Welcome back to another episode of Garden State Growing. Once again, my name is Eric. Today we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, but most of all is going to be the fact that last week I shot a lot of videos that as much as there was some very good information in there, it just wasn't cohesive. It didn't translate very well. Please excuse the dogs in the background. They are playing with my neighbor's dogs. So I'm going to be putting out a series of videos in the next couple of weeks that are going to be centered around the beginner gardener, the person that is saying to themselves right now, I think I want to start a garden this year. I haven't ever done it before in the past. What do I need to know? What videos do I need to watch? What tips do I need to learn? And I could actually sit down and just give you a point by point something that will help you grow like a plant or a couple plants very well. But it's not really going to give you the experience that you're going to want or the satisfaction that you're going to need from putting out such a fantastic job by producing your own vegetables that you're going to want to grow. Now, there's a bunch of different questions that you need to ask yourself at this point. What type of gardener do you want to be? An indoor gardener, an outdoor gardener? Do you want to garden in your native soil? Do you want to do raised beds? Do you want to do pots? How much sun do you have? Do you have a big yard where you can put a raised bed in? Or do you have a little patio where the only thing that you're going to be able to put in there is like a bucket? Or maybe like a small troughed pot or something like that. These are all things that we need to take into consideration. So for me to sit here and spew a bunch of tips on what you need to do as the upcoming spring season comes, I just want to remind you right now it is March 11th and it is 67 degrees outside. I've got my cut off sleeveless wild card tattoo shirt on and I am loving every minute of it. But that is northeastern weather. That is New Jersey, that is Middlesex County, that we will have a 67 degree day, and then within 2 days be back down to 21 degrees. That's what happened last year all the way up until May 21st, around there. So like at this point, I'm not really trying to spitfire a lot of answers at you. They would take way too long to explain in a video of this length. But what I want to do is spitfire a bunch of questions that you should be asking yourself. Okay, what is the convenience of the spot where you have to grow? Is it really far away from the house? Are you saying to yourself, well, I need a spot that has full sun, but it's 100 feet from my house? Well, that 100 feet from your nearest water spigot, because now you're going to have to transport water 100 feet. So you're going to have to get a very, very, very long hose that you're going to have to wrap up every day, or you're going to have to find another way to get water all the way out to that bed. Now, we also are speaking about convenience in this matter. If you are planting, and I won't say like 100, that's an exaggeration, but let's even say 30 or 40 feet away from your house, you are less likely inclined to go travel 30 or 40 feet out to go visit that bed to see if there's any pest problems, water problems, moisture problems, or disease problems, opposed to something that is right next to your house or even inside your house. Now, this last year, I found this amazing trend. A lot of people are talking about it at work and online. And it's been around for 20 something years. Matter of fact, it was one of the first gardens I've ever put in my house or at this house. Okay, in my very first gardening experiences that I've had on my own property. When I was younger, I used to go visit my Uma once a week, which is my grandmother on my father's side, and she had a massive garden in her backyard. And I loved to go there and pick peas and pick raspberries and pick our dinners, and she would cook it all up for dinner. And I was so happy to see that I was eating what I had just picked off the vine. But when I came to this house and I started inside, I said, what's the easiest thing I think I can do? And for me, it was this thing called an AirPod. Now, I see a lot of different brands out there, and but they're all the same basically. It's an aquaponic unit that you take pods that have a seed in it, you put it in the little thing, you fill it with water, you fill it with little nutrients, it comes with a grow light, you can put it really close to the seeds and then expand up as the plants grow. And they give you plants that grow really just like amazing. They're flawless. A lot of basil, oregano, radishes, some lettuce, maybe even some strawberries would grow perfectly like that, and you feel very accomplished. You're not going to grow that much. I mean, it's not going to be a meal, but it might be a snack or a salad. You can literally grow an entire salad in one little season in these things. And then you can always, of course, buy more pods to put it in there and grow more stuff. And they do have 1, 2, and 3 level pods. Mine, I believe, was a 3-level pod, and I loved it. You know, you got about 10 pods per level, and I had all sorts of herbs, fresh herbs. It was probably my best herb garden that I've ever had to date that was inside my house. It was just completely worry-free. So if you are at the beginner stage, I highly recommend that you do something like this, which will give you great satisfaction at the end of the season. But now, of course, you want to ask yourself the other questions: inside, outside, in the dirt, in pots, in raised beds. Those are subjects I'm going to be covering further on in this series, but not in this video today, because I don't want you thinking about that kind of stuff right now. The only thing I want you to thinking about is what type of gardener you want to be. Seriously, what are you going to grow? Do you want to just grow stuff for the sake of growing stuff, or do you want to grow stuff for the sake of actually eating it? I mean, that's why a lot of beginner gardeners choose the tomato. It's relatively easy to grow, especially if you're growing it in a pot indoors or in a protected space. There are complications once you start to upsize and stuff like that, but there are a lot of other vegetables that you can grow just as easily. I mean, seriously, in the beginning, when I first started growing like vegetables and herbs and stuff like that, I just grew stuff to show off. I was like, oh, look what I could grow. I could grow a bushel of radishes. And they're like, oh, what are you going to do with all those radishes? No idea. Well, since then, I've learned to pickle them. I've learned to bake them. I learned to chip them and fry them and eat them in many ways I never thought possible. But in the beginning, they were right. It was like I had 40 pounds of radishes I had no idea what I could do with, except for to brag to other people that I grew radishes. I would seriously recommend that you actually grow something that you want to eat. I would rather you grow 100 corn plants and only get 10 cobs of corn that you can eat and that are absolutely delicious, you know, than 1,000 radishes you don't want to eat. I gotta tell you, one of my first and greatest gardening accomplishments was one of the first years I tried an outside gardening bed, and I tried to grow sweet potatoes, and I knew nothing about growing sweet potatoes. I literally tossed sweet potatoes in the ground, covered them with dirt, and prayed for the best. They were the most amazing sweet potatoes I've ever eaten in my entire life, that to this day I still have not eaten a sweet potato that sweet and that delicious. And I've been chasing it down in farmers markets and on farms and in my own backyard for years now. Maybe this year is the year I can do a sweet potato. Like, all right, everyone. So I'm not going to drag this out any longer. I just wanted to tell you a couple anecdotes about myself, about, you know, gardening, about what you should be thinking about this time. If you go back through my profile of videos, you'll see my planting stages, you'll see some seedling videos. I'm going to be putting out a lot more seedling videos. But for now, I just wanted to bring up what questions should you be asking. And I'm sure I have not covered them all. Matter of fact, I'm 100% positive that I didn't even cover 25% of the different, questions you should be asking yourself. I mean, we could be getting into mulch and pine needles and reclamation of your gardening beds and everything else. This is beginner. This is just about talking about what kind of gardener do you want to be for right now that's appropriate to your skill set, so you're not setting yourself up for failure. Okay, because no one wants to spend, 50 to 100 hours cultivating a plant just to have it peter out in the end and have nothing except for a lesson to learn from it. So I love you. If you did like this video, if you do like this content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It is more important than ever right now to do that. I'm at 675 in subscribers, at 1,000. I know people aren't going to like this, but I get to monetize this channel and make just a little bit to help me out on all the financial burdens that I have to carry in producing these videos and my garden. So I love you. I will see you on the next episode.
It's the calm before the storm. Things aren't as they were before.